This is Channel 9 Eyewitness News at 5. Coverage you can count on.
On Eyewitness News at 5, growing complaints about an Orange County man turning up the volume in a quiet neighborhood.
Fireworks, they go off at any hour of the day. Literally, it could be in the morning, it could be late at night. He used to rev up his engine for his car.
Why deputies say their hands are tied.
All new at 5, 9 investigates and covers new details after a man was kneed in the face by a Kissimmee police officer. We obtained text conversations that took place that day between officers and command staff.
Those text messages between officers at the Kissimmee Police Department now are shedding more light on this investigation into an excessive force case that the state attorney's office took to a grand jury last year. We've been covering it since then. And good evening, I'm Greg Warmoth.
And I'm Martha Sigalski. An officer was indicted and the chief actually resigned under a cloud of controversy. It began when Channel 9 first questioned this body cam. Right there, the body cam video, you can see Officer Andrew Baseggio kneeing a man in the face. That's against the department's own policy. Now, to investigate, Shannon Butler is joining us live in the studio. And Shannon, you reviewed some of those text messages.
Yeah, the state attorney did their own investigation after they didn't think that KPD nor the Florida Department of Law Enforcement looked close enough into the incident. These texts do shed some light on why. The texts show that the officers, even the chief, were allegedly having conversations about the investigation they were under with each other. Even at one point, officers seemingly to work on a story about exactly what happened. The text message also showed that Baseggio claimed to have talked to the chief during this process, telling another officer that he spoke to her and that she said it was the news that made this into something, claiming that Chief Holland said her words were twisted in our interview. We have repeatedly reached out to Holland after her resignation, but she has not yet responded. The city, though, has been working on changes, telling us the city is committed to restoring the public's trust. A new chief, though, should be announced in the coming weeks. Greg.
All right, Shannon, thank you for that report. People in an Orange County neighborhood say they're being terrorized by a man setting off explosives at his home at all hours of the day and really doesn't listen to anyone saying, please don't do this. This has been a problem. Police say that they've stepped in, but there's nothing they can officially do about it. And Channel 9's Nick Pampantonis is live in the community near Conway where that frustration runs deep. And Nick, you've tried to talk to this guy, and commissioners are also feeling some frustration.
Yeah, they've been getting messages about this from neighbors going back 3 years now. There's only 2 times per year you can legally set off fireworks. That's 4th of July and New Year's Day and New Year's Eve as well. And so now they're trying to close loopholes that they say are being exploited. We took a look at the changes that were going to be voted on this week. They did not include anything about this fireworks and this repeat problem. That's where the commissioner is trying to push for this to be included when they do take a vote. In Orange County, I'm Nick Pampantonis, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
After 2 overcast and some rainy days, the sun has arrived and brought with it perfect weather. Certified Chief Meteorologist Tom Terry live in Severe Weather Center 9. Oh, Tom, we got to take this show to the beach.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I'm good with that. Now, the water temperature, Martha, I'll say is 62, so it's a little bit challenging. We've seen a few folks just kind of barely step in. Of course, the water here has had a little bit of extra heating because it's right there. It's very shallow, but get out there a little ways, it's on the cool side. But we have 74 degrees. That's at the airport, just a few miles inland from the beach. It's going to be a little bit cooler right on the beach itself because we have that onshore wind at 8 miles an hour. We're at 78 Orlando, 80 in DeLand, and staying very, very nice. Look at the temperature versus yesterday, 10 degrees warmer over the interior. But how long does it last, you may ask? We have a front that's going to arrive early in the morning on Friday. There are a couple of sprinkles along the front. Most of the moisture is to the north, and it's not very widespread. So I don't have rain with that front as it moves in on Friday. I do, however, have some cooler weather. You notice it's still in the mid to upper 70s over in Daytona Beach. By Friday, we're going to take about 10 degrees right off the top. But notice the zeros down here. That's our rain percentage, so you're good there. Saturday, we rebound just in time for another front, Greg, that'll be moving in for the end of the weekend. Overall, Chamber of Commerce as everyone starts flocking to Daytona Beach and elsewhere.
Perfection, Tom. Good job. Now we have some breaking news coming in right now. A woman is facing second-degree murder charges for deadly road rage that wound up with a shooting. The Orange County State Attorney's Office told us in the last 5 minutes, a grand jury has now returned the indictment against her after the state's presentation of evidence. Tina Alego, pictured here, was arrested again today in the death of Mikhail Teskatov in December. She was already charged with aggravated battery with a deadly weapon from the incident that happened on Colonial Drive. We'll have more on that story later on Eyewitness News. A former commissioner accused of exploiting an elderly woman to purchase a home wants access to that seized property that she thinks is hers. Regina Hill claims she's been paying the mortgage and needs to get into the property for maintenance, upgrades, and to deal with squatters who are now living there. She says since the woman is in a nursing home, it won't harm her. Investigators say the home was financed using that elderly woman's name and credit score without, again, that woman's permission or her family's permission. The woman's attorneys are separately asking a judge to force a sale of the property, and that case is still ongoing.
Just into our newsroom, newly released body cam video shows the moment that Sumter County deputies found a suspicious man who triggered a lockdown at South Sumter High School yesterday.
My only possession.
What is your only possession?
My house burned. Whoa.
Put your hands behind your back for right now, okay?
Hey, calm down.
All right, you're being detained.
Deputies say 28-year-old Chase Lovett was on CSX property wearing a ski mask and right there carrying a rifle. He's been charged with armed trespassing. Well, a home health care nurse in Flagler County is now charged with abusing his disabled patient. Deputies say 68-year-old John Jenkins was caught on camera beating that patient. The victim can't walk or talk and needs constant care. When detectives reviewed other footage, they say they discovered more than 25 other instances of Jenkins physically and verbally abusing that victim in just 1 week.
1 year ago today, the disappearance of 13-year-old Madeline Soto took over Central Florida and sparked a massive search effort for that little girl. Soto was reported missing when her mother went to pick her up at Hunters Creek Middle School a year ago and learned that Maddie had not shown up to school at all that day. And since then, Stephen Stearns has been arrested and charged with her murder. Before he was arrested, Stearns actually spoke with our Channel 9 news team.
It's a living nightmare. They started off like any other.
Stearns is in court for his case, and his attorneys have filed a motion to have evidence from his phone thrown out. Investigators say he had pictures and videos allegedly showing him sexually battering a child.
Tonight, some Pine Hills residents are opening up about what they say are their frustrations after this horrible scene 2 years ago, and it sparked outrage. It was February 22nd, 2023. Police say 19-year-old Keith Moses went on a shooting spree, killing 9-year-old Tiana Major, Nathasha Augustin, and news reporter Dylan Lyons. And on that day, residents say the community was not put on alert and was not warned about the gunman. Channel 9's Daryl Matthews is live in Pine Hills, where community discussion is just about to get underway. And Daryl, these residents say that they're looking for some answers.
Yeah, they're looking for answers surrounding transparency with law enforcement in the Pine Hills community. You can see this is the area that will be taking place for that community discussion on how residents themselves can make this area safe, keep the community safe, and how they can do this while demanding justice. And as you can see on stage, those two tables are for the community leaders and panelists, as well as the moderator that we are waiting to arrive, as well as the community. And coming up at 6, what the sheriff department says it has done over the years to make Pine Hills safe, and listen to what residents want to be done. For now, we are live in Pine Hills. Daryl Matthews, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
The sheriff's office releasing a statement to Channel 9 about not being in attendance tonight, saying, quote, given that the Orange County Sheriff's Office is engaged in litigation on this topic of this panel, and that a member of the panel is the attorney who brought this lawsuit against OCSO and Sheriff John Mina personally, it's wholly inappropriate to engage in a public discussion on the topic. The Sheriff's Office also sent over some statistics. New data shows a 55% decrease in overall crime in Pine Hills since 2012. That includes a 50% decrease in murders and an 83% decrease in burglaries.
An FHP trooper is now entangled in legal troubles after he crashed into a car while allegedly driving drunk.
And on to at 5:30, 9 Investigates is learning more about the details in the lawsuit against that trooper. Tom?
Well, it's almost time. Lots of big outdoor events, including the Central Florida Fair. That starts on Friday. I'm updating how long we have before our next rain system arrives.
And next, only on Channel 9, I'm speaking with the mother of a man who was shot and killed by deputies in Orange County. Coming up, why she says his call for help was mishandled.
A teen radicalized by a terrorist organization plotting to murder someone with this axe. Stopped right here in Central Florida. Now, Only 9 investigates Shannon Butler takes you inside the Orange County Command Center, whose mission is to identify these terrorist threats and stop them.
If you're truly planning violence, we're extremely prepared.
The techniques and strategies they're using to keep Central Florida safe. Live tonight at 11 on Eyewitness News.
My son has passed, and the family and I are just taking it day by day.
Only Channel 9 is speaking to the family of a man who was killed in a deputy-involved shooting this past Friday.
Yeah, the Orange County Sheriff says deputies responded to Antonio Scipio's home on Merganser Drive over a call of a suicidal person. According to the report, Scipio approached them holding a knife and was shot after several commands to drop the weapon. Channel 9's Giovanni Diaz is live at the Orange County Sheriff's Office. Gio, the deputies in this case are, and this is per usual, on administrative leave.
Yeah, Greg, as you mentioned, this is standard procedure every time something like this happens. Now, the mother tells me that her son suffered from multiple mental health conditions, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, and she told me she informs that to the deputies who responded to the call. So the sheriff's office told us their behavioral response unit teams, which includes deputies and clinicians, do not directly respond to calls when someone is armed. They also told us nearly 1,000 deputies have completed a 40-hour crisis intervention training. However, I did ask them earlier today if those 2 deputies involved in this case had been part of that training, but I did not hear back regarding that question. Coming up in the next hour, we hear from the mother once again because she has a message to families who have someone in their household with a mental health condition. Reporting live here in Orange County, I'm Giovanni Diaz, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Gio, thanks so much for that report. Good news in the weather department.
Oh my goodness.
Perfect.
Yeah, this is perfect.
Yeah, this is the time when we get stuff done outside at the Terry Ponderosa.
You got that honey-do list from Selena.
You know, and it's great weather to get out there, get some hurricane prep stuff done perhaps as well. Try to get that arborist out and trim out those big bulky trees. Really just try to thin out your tree canopy, especially those big live oaks. They really get really thick and dense and they'll just blow right over. So it's a great weather for having perhaps someone do it for you or just trimming a few branches yourself. Right now, Friday morning, our next cold front's coming. So we made it to about 80 today, about the same for tomorrow. We'll have a few more clouds tomorrow. I think that will keep us down just a bit. But we have Bike Week over in Daytona, and we have one front that'll arrive early Friday morning, dropping you from the upper 70s tomorrow to the upper 60s. So about a 10-degree drop here for Friday. We rebound on Saturday, only to have another weak front arrive on Sunday. So we're going to kind of go the up and down roller coaster way. If you're heading out to the Central Florida Fair, it also starts on Friday, and the zeros down here, that's our rain percentage. You can see temperatures here not quite as impacted by the fronts that are coming through. Instead of 80, we'll hit 76, but you can kind of see we're staying fairly consistent. And finally, one big event going on Saturday is Monster Jam at Camping World. We're going to be in the mid-70s. This is Saturday, so great weather. Unbelievable weather heading into Saturday night for the big event. Now, as far as any rain, an isolated shower mainly along the coast for Thursday. I kept rain chance at 10%. Friday, though, we start to dry out. And coming up the next half hour, we're going to stretch out the European model all the way to next week. And I think that's when we're going to see our next best chance for some rain. But boy, that is Chamber of Commerce with temperatures cooling down just a hair until we get to next week, Greg. And that's when our next big spring-like warm-up will be arriving.
All right, looks good. Thank you, Tom. Vigilante groups in Florida are taking the law into their own hands, going after suspected child predators. And coming up, why law enforcement warns this oftentimes does more harm than good, though.
And lawyers for Channel 9 have filed a lawsuit against DCF to get answers for frustrated Floridians dealing with unpaid medical bills and battling for benefits. How the state is responding, being taken to court.
And next, we are breaking down the newest plan that aims to make eggs affordable again.
Sky Witness 9 on Channel 9 Eyewitness News, bringing you closer to the scene during live breaking news. Sponsored by attorney Dan Newlin. A teen plotting to murder someone with this axe. Now, Only 9 investigates Shannon Butler takes you inside the Orange County Command Center, whose mission is to identify these terrorist threats and stop them. Live tonight at 11 on Eyewitness News.
The U.S. Department of Agriculture has shared a new plan to tackle bird flu and lower our egg prices in the process.
They're pretty high right now. The department will invest up to $1 billion to curb the crisis and try to make eggs affordable once again. The funds will be distributed in different categories. $5 million will go to poultry producers to help implement gold standard biosecurity measures. Another portion will go to farmers whose flocks are affected by the bird flu. And $1 million will go to research and development of a vaccine for laying chickens. Reporter Rihanna Alley spoke with some consumers who are feeling uncertain. We are less than 2 hours away from a highly anticipated launch on our Space Coast. Coming up, we learn more about the Intuitive Machine's new lunar lander ahead of tonight's liftoff.
Paid parking signs used to line Venetian-based town center. They've all been taken down, and a meeting to discuss the issue has now been canceled. Coming up, we'll tell you what neighbors say they had to do to get to this point.
Despite his criminal charges being dropped, an FHP trooper is being pulled back into court. I'm investigative reporter Ashlyn Webb. Last night we told you how he was arrested for DUI after crashing into another car. Next, we're breaking down about what we know about this lawsuit.
This Tower Cam Shot, sponsored by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
This is Channel 9 Eyewitness News at 5:30. Coverage you can count on.
On Eyewitness News at 5:30, parking troubles come to an end for residents in a local community.
It feels good, and it feels good for the business owners.
Why some are crediting are reporting for the change. And in just a couple of hours, Intuitive Machines will launch its new lunar lander.
I'm very excited about returning to the moon.
The Apollo astronaut with a special connection to this commercial Artemis mission.
Plus, 9 investigates learns new details after an FHP trooper crashes, allegedly while driving drunk.
New at 5:30, an FHP trooper facing a lawsuit after he crashed into a car and was arrested for DUI. Investigative reporter Ashlyn Webb broke this story last night, showing the body cam video of the arrest. Good evening. I'm Martha Sigowski.
And I'm Greg Wormuth. The trooper is now under internal investigation by FHP despite his DUI charges that were dropped. Ashlyn joins us live in the studio on the story that, again, she's the first to report on. Ashlyn, you're learning more about this lawsuit tonight.
Yes, we actually have a copy of the lawsuit here. Alexa Morales-Raftari was driving the car that FIBO collided with that you can see here. She's now being represented by Morgan & Morgan, suing FIBO for negligence. Court filings show he was set to be deposed, questioned by her attorneys just a couple weeks ago. Morgan & Morgan submitted a list of questions they plan to ask the trooper. Among them, did he consume any alcoholic beverages before the crash? Body camera video shows why officers suspected he was driving drunk. Orlando police tell us they completed the investigation in accordance with state and local laws and that the officers followed department procedures. Florida Highway Patrol wouldn't tell us much other than there is an ongoing internal investigation. We received FIBO's personnel records that show he at least briefly was placed on administrative duty. We reached out to Trooper FIBO to interview, but he declined to comment. Back to you guys.
All right, Ashlyn, thank you. Covering our Space Coast, the countdown to launch is underway for a commercial moon mission supporting NASA's Artemis campaign. Intuitive Machines lunar lander. It is in this machine, and it will lift off right there atop a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket. Channel 9's Melanie Holt live at the Kennedy Space Center with this exciting launch. And, well, teams are saying this will happen no earlier than 7:16 tonight.
That's when the launch window officially opens. And if it doesn't lift off during that time period, there's still plenty of other opportunities. This is a 4-day launch window. And as of this afternoon, the Space Coast has already seen 17 launches this year. That, of course, doesn't count the 2 launches that could happen tonight with that Falcon 9 rocket out there on pad 39A for this moon mission, and another Falcon 9 rocket standing ready at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. Live here at KSC, Melanie Holtz, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
And let's talk about that second launch a little bit more. SpaceX once again scrubbed that Falcon 9 launch last night. Going to try again this evening, as mentioned by Mel. The launch is set, if you'd like to look outside or head that way, 10:34 tonight against what should be a beautiful backdrop of clear skies. It will happen from the Cape Canaveral Space Force Station, Launch Complex 40. There are some more backup opportunities at 2 in the morning and also tomorrow night. The launch will carry 21 Starlink satellites, with 13 of them having direct-to-cell capabilities.
Well, after months and months of protest and pleading with city leaders for help, residents of Venetian Bay no longer have to pay to park in their own town center. Channel 9 Volusia County reporter Demi Johnson is live in Venetian Bay for us tonight. Demi, neighbors put up with those ridiculous parking fees, and they say your reporting helped shut this program down.
Martha, they tell us that we gave them a platform to make their voices heard, and they believe that it made a difference. There was actually a meeting scheduled today between the community and the city, but that meeting was canceled, and all of those paid parking signs are now down. And the only way this parking program could be re-implemented is if the community's developer and the city redo their agreement. That agreement has been in place for more than 20 years since the community was first built in 2004. Live in New Smyrna Beach, Demi Johnson, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Well done, Demi. Thank you. Threats across Central Florida may not always make headlines, but they are happening right here at home.
Yeah, and Martha, now the Orange County Sheriff's Office is dedicating a team to investigate those threats. Channel 9 investigative reporter Shannon Butler has more on a story you'll see only here tonight at 11 o'clock. Again, that was Shannon Butler reporting. For more than a year, 9 Investigates has been working with frustrated Floridians dealing with unpaid medical bills.
All new at 6, an attorney for Eyewitness News files a lawsuit to help finally get some answers.
And vigilante groups in Florida are going after suspected child predators. Next, why law enforcement says this does more harm than good.
The excitement returns.
The Jeopardy Invitational Tournament.
Players from the past are back.
Fantastic game.
Only one will emerge champion.
Who knows what's next?
Brought to you by Greenway Ford.
Join America's favorite game.
You never know what's going to happen.
For the I can't believe it. And always for the unexpected.
Treat yourself a round of sausage.
That's not it, but thank you.
Are you ready?
Brought to you by Lexus of Orlando. Eyewitness News live stream, sponsored by Advent Health.
Never, ever stop reaching for what makes you feel whole.
Groups in Florida are taking the law into their own hands, filming sting operations against suspected child predators and posting those videos online.
That kind of thing, to catch a predator, that's the style. Law enforcement is dealing with these cases, and they warn that these vigilante to catch a predator groups often do more harm than good for the investigation. Reporter Jake Stofan shows us why real child victims sometimes pay the price because of this.
All right, weather here can't be any prettier than it is today. 78 degrees. Winds are light. If you're going to be out and around the attractions area tonight, we're going to fall back into the upper 50s by the time you get your early Thursday morning started. 57 tonight, Sanford, about 54 in the Villages and Lady Lake. Another front's on the way for early Friday. It's going to move through relatively dry. I don't think we'll see any rain along with it. So pleasant and dry tonight. Maybe a stray sprinkle toward the south and along our southeast coast for tomorrow, but generally Friday and again on Sunday. We have 2 fronts. They're both weak. Overall, it will average out to a pretty seasonal week. Look at this stretch of weather. 4-day forecast for the Central Florida Fair. Are you kidding me? Temperatures right about normal, which is kind of hard to do here in Florida. Usually we're warmer or cooler than. Here is your 7-day forecast. The weekend always in view for the Orlando metro area. 81 tomorrow, about a 5-degree drop with that first front on Friday, then another couple degrees on Sunday. I'm updating the longer range rain outlook when I see you again at 6.
This primetime lineup is brought to you by Lexus of Winter Park.
If you want to get into better shape, Shannon Lanier says he has an exercise tool that works every muscle in your body. It is tonight's local Steals and Deals. A town hall meeting is being held right now in an Orange County community concerned about safety.
And we are there. Coming up all new at 6, the concerns from citizens months after a deadly crime spree left 3 people dead.
Plus, the changes a local mother is calling for after her son died in a deadly deputy-involved shooting. And next, at all new at 6, the legal move Channel 9 just made, the state agency we are trying to take to court on behalf of the public.